My name is Minh, and this is my sign name. Every morning I get up and I have a traditional Vietnamese breakfast with my family. It's very different from the traditional American breakfast and typically includes some combination of rice and eggs. After I eat, I either go to school or I go to work depending on the day. Sometimes I teach ASL, sometimes I tutor, and at the end of the day, I go home and spend time with my family. I do chores, I watch my niece and nephews, I take care of my mom who's elderly now. And yeah, that's about it. Also, every Thursday night I teach. I'm an assistant teacher in an ASL class. So I help teach class and then I go home and go to bed just like everybody else. Back in Da Nang, Vietnam, I didn't grow up like normal kids did. I pretty much stayed at home with my mom and spent most of my time by her side. I rarely left my house and I was really, really isolated. At that time, I didn't know any sign language. I didn't even go to school, so it was really hard to get by. I was on my own a lot and kind of living in a vacuum. I wasn't learning at all. I had absolutely no education, and I was completely illiterate. I didn't even know what my own name was. I did go to a school once to check it out to see what it was like, sort of as a visiting student. And I got to see what they did there, but I still had no concept of what school and education was all about. I remember this one time when the kids went out to play, I would try to communicate with them and say that I wanted to play soccer, and I was able to do that. But other than that, I pretty much just stayed at home on my own with my family. Growing up, I was very isolated and had no type of social stimulation whatsoever. I would just stay at home and do things around the house, and it was kind of like my mind went numb. Eventually, my horizons did broaden as I became more social and I got involved with more people and more social activities. But before then, I was pretty much on my own and isolated with my family. Later on, when I came to the United States, my world totally opened up. I became more comfortable getting involved in different events, different activities, and socializing a lot more. I'm the only deaf person in my family, and my parents don't have a lot of knowledge about deaf culture and don't realize that deaf people can do anything that hearing people can do. So there are a few things that they've done in the past that have been pretty frustrating. Like my mom said that I wasn't able to drive or just do basic things independently, like go to the library on my own. I found that really discouraging because the message that I was getting from her was always that because I'm deaf, I can't do these things. So it's taken some time, but over the years, I've been educating my parents and showing them that as a deaf person, I can be independent and am able to do the same types of things that they are. And I think that they finally started catching on, little by little. My life is completely different now compared to what it was like back in Vietnam. Back in Vietnam, all I would do was stick around my house by myself, but now I feel so much more part of the world. I can go out and do whatever I want to here. In Vietnam, I lived in a very tiny remote village and didn't hang out or communicate with friends. But in the States, I'm very much connected with the deaf community. In Vietnam, that just did not exist. It was totally different. I moved to the United States from Vietnam when I was 11 years old. When I got to the US, I enrolled at Francis J. McGrath Elementary School. I have this vivid memory of my first day of school. When I was waiting for the teacher, a young deaf girl named Alicia came up to me and was signing away lightning fast, and it all went completely over my head. I had absolutely no idea what she was saying, but I didn't let that deter me. As soon as I joined the classroom with the other deaf students, I started learning my ABCs, and I started picking up ASL right away. Being immersed in a deaf and hard of hearing environment where everyone was signing helped out a lot. Of course, I would miss things here and there, but thanks to my teacher of the deaf, I learned American Sign Language and began my education here in the United States. And that got me to where I am today. To me, recovery means any person who might be depressed or who has substance abuse issues or mental health issues. The peer support model of recovery is an opportunity to get together with people who may have had similar struggles or who have experienced similar issues. It's a safe place to share your feelings and experiences with one another in a non-judgmental and respectful environment. Now I'm involved in peer support, and I engage in meetings to help people out in the community through their recovery process. A while back, my friends encouraged me to go check out RLC, which is an abbreviation for the Recovery Learning Community. I had no idea what RLC was all about, but I visited one time and observed the meetings, met a bunch of people, and I realized that it was a place for people to go who were working on recovery. So I thought this was a fantastic environment for recovery, and at that time, they were looking for someone to teach American Sign Language. So they asked me if I'd be willing to come in and teach some ASL classes. So I did. I began teaching ongoing classes, and along the way, they also told me that I had an opportunity to take a training to become a peer support person. So I was also involved in the training at RLC, and now I do both. I've been teaching American Sign Language, and I've also been involved in the peer support program ever since. At the RLC, we have an outlook that fosters positive thinking. During our discussions, we want to think deeply and share openly and feel comfortable doing that. So we try to encourage people to leave the negativity at the door, to try to think positively about our futures and think about changing in positive ways. It's my goal here at the Recovery Learning Community to help people as much as possible. I want them to improve their lives. I want to help create a safe space here, and I want to do what's best for them in their future. I want to try to encourage people to stop their negative thinking patterns and to start thinking positively about their futures and their lives. The point of the RLC peer support training is that we don't want people to have to suffer in their depression and to struggle through that alone. The idea is that we get together and we share our experiences through mutual understanding to gain a sense of empathy for one another, and to create a safe space where people can come together and comfortably share their experiences. I have gained a lot of insight from my experience, and from that, I'd like to tell people that you don't have to live in the darkness of isolation. You do not have to be alone. You can take charge of your life and think in a positive way about who you are and what you want to become in your life and in your future. And you can apply that to whatever you want to achieve in terms of your career goals or really anything. Please don't let other people discriminate against you or keep you down or tell you that you can't do what you want to do. In your heart, you need to know that this is your life and you can achieve whatever you put your mind to.